Hi, this is Tim Hinton, the Beast of the Marching Arts. Thanks for being here at our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe so you can see exclusive live interviews, plus excerpts from podcasts, webinars, and interviews from live events. Thanks for being here. We hope you'll subscribe to our channel. Hey everybody, it's Tim, the Beast of the Marching Arts, and you are going to love this conversation. We're going to talk about everybody should learn how to spin a flag and be a guard person in some fashion. One of the guard gurus out there in the world doing a lot of good is Jackie Brown. Jackie, how are you?
I'm doing great, Tim. I'm so excited to talk about this. It's so great to be back on your show again.
Absolutely. It's always great to talk to you. And everybody, Jackie is one of those people with Spintronics, her color guard, and they have this, like so many great resources to help people. And here's another one. We have a new course in Marching Arts Education, Flag Spinning for Beginners and Beginning Instructors. We're going to be talking about that today. But before we jump into talking about the course, I want to talk about this. Jackie, I think like the premise I want to start with is everybody needs to have some basic ability to do guard work, right? Like if you're going to be on the field or on the floor with in this activity of ours, I think you need to kind of have a sense of how it all works, and it gives you an appreciation. So I would say no matter who you are, if you're a drum instructor or band director, you teach whatever part of it, they should know basically how to spin a flag, if not a rifle or a saber too.
Yeah, so this is like such a huge thing that we get asked all the time on the Spintronic social media is like, well, I want to be a band director. I'm a college student, I'm a music major, whatever, a music ed major. I want to be a band director. What do I need to know about color guard? And previously it's just been like, well, as much as you can, really. Like you want to know as much as you can. Just like I know that music ed majors often have to learn percussion, and they have to learn winds, and they have to learn woodwinds, and they have to learn strings and everything. There's not usually a requirement for them to learn anything to do with color guard. And so I think that was kind of the inspiration for this, was all of these people who were coming to our site and coming and using our free resources, and they wanted to have some sort of foundation of color guard understanding so that they could move forward and be better informed of how to go about teaching these students and where these students are coming from. And it really, this is, it's for anybody. It's for directors, like you were saying, it's for instructors. It's also for students though. If you didn't have a color guard program in your school and you want to learn the basics of how to do it, this is such a great place to start.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And listen, I can tell you that most most aspiring band directors have a marching methods course. A lot of them don't, and that's why we have the dynamic marching methods course on our website. We created a virtual version of it because some people just actually don't even have that offered, or they don't have time in their schedule, whatever. But anyway, those who are lucky enough to have a marching methods course where they spend a semester and they're learning sort of the nuts and bolts of how it all works, even those people, Jackie, usually have one day where they all go outside and they hand out flags and they stand around and they try to learn to do it, and they, without hitting themselves in the head, and like they have this one day experience. And I'm like, okay, well, so they have a little bit of experience, but
it's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing, absolutely. And that's what we said, like you said before, there was a course like this, and what do you do? I would say find a guard person and ask them, can I have a little time? Can you show me? But what you've done, which I love, is there's this progressive system of here's how you start, here's the first thing you need to learn, here's the next thing you need to learn. And I can tell you, as a band director, especially if not any kind of instructor, like I need to know how this works. Like if I'm going to teach a clarinet, as you said, if I'm going to teach a clarinet player, I need to have some idea of how to play a clarinet. Yeah. But here we have all these guard people in our programs. We need to understand what they're doing and how it works.
Yeah, and that was another thing too, is so I started creating educational resources online back in, well, I started doing it seriously in 2014. I kind of, played with it a little bit then, but in 2014, I posted a video every single day for like 2014 and 2015, so basically 2 years straight. Amazing. Just posting educational videos because it needed to be out there. The information needed to be there as far as I was concerned. And so now what we've gone and done with this course is taken those random different things that I talked about, the different basics and the different techniques, and organize them in a sort of best methods course. So it's not just practical, it's concise and organized in such a way that it's the best way for you to go about doing it. Because you can go to our YouTube channel and you can be like, oh, well, I want to learn how to do this toss or something, but when you're actually looking for how to build someone up from the ground up on color guard, you need to have that organization, because you can't teach them how to like throw a flag over their head properly if they don't know how to manipulate the flag properly with two hands, you know? So it's
Of
kind of
course.
that leveled way of teaching it. And that was my approach to creating this, was I wanted to create this way that people could follow easily, and then take that and translate it to the classroom where they can teach their guard as well. We did a presentation last summer at the Missouri Bandmasters Association, and that was kind of where I field tested our methods, and we ended up with all these band directors in there. I assumed I was going to have like 5 people show up. They even put my session, like, it was one of the first sessions of the whole convention. Like, our session started at 1 o'clock. Hotel check-in wasn't until like 4 o'clock or something crazy like that. So like, there's not going to be anybody there. Nobody's going to come. We ended up, we dressed out 50 flags, and we ended up using every single one of the flags. And we still had people who didn't have flags. You know, they were having to share. So it was a really fantastic experience. You know, we got to go through our whole method and just make sure in person that it worked with all these different band directors. And it does. I had band directors who were just like, who flew through everything, and they were like, oh my gosh, this makes so much more sense now why my students were having a hard time with drop spins, because they didn't really understand how to manipulate the flag with 2 hands yet, and here we were trying to pass it from hand to hand. So, you know, just having that understanding in that organized order was so helpful to them.
Yeah, if you're listening to this or watching this, the very next podcast release is going to be another conversation with Jackie, with my friend Mary, and they're talking about the importance of technique. We all understand that in what we do. We're going to talk about that for all of us, and especially in the world of color guard. Now, Jackie, you mentioned all the YouTube videos. What's the address where people can find that?
So all of our social medias are at Spintronics Guard, and that's Spintronics with an X. But our YouTube channel is also, it's Spintronics Guard. You can find us at youtube.com/C/Spintronics Guard. And but really, if you just type in Spintronics to YouTube, usually it pops up.
Right. So you guys just look for Spintronics on all these different things. It's very cool. So I love that you were talking about this, that band directors have this appetite to learn how to do this. I think they all know that they need to know, but they're like, how do I do it? And that's what I love about this course, is that it's very logically placed and it helps people move through the steps. And I got to tell you, you can go on YouTube or somewhere and search around and find stuff about how to do it, but you're probably not going to learn it, as you said, in this sort of logical order. Like, we know when we teach a student to march for the first time, here's the first thing they need to do, and then here's the next thing we teach them, and then we know the next thing to teach them is this. We've thought it out. That's what I like about this course, is you've thought it out. I know that if I take the first video, I'm going to learn the first thing I need to do. I'm going to get comfortable with that. Then in my own time, I can go to the next video and, okay, here's the next thing to build on that. And at the end of it, I'm going to be doing fancy tosses and look at it. I got to tell you, I think drill writers need to know this too, because I'm a drill writer, and I can tell you, Jackie, one of my favorite things is, of course, I'm a drill writer, a music arranger. I do a lot of clinics with bands, but I love being out on the field with a band, and I'm trying to explain something. We're trying to fix an effect or something. I love that I can walk up and grab a flag or a rifle, and I can just like, no, I want you to do like this. Swoosh, 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 toss, catch. Did everybody understand? And I can tell you, the whole band is like, they're all like, what? What just happened? But I love that I love to have those skills. I mean, I can take a rifle and I can throw a quad and I can catch it. Like, I should have that skill if I'm going to be on the field trying to teach rifles to do anything. And it gives me some credibility. Like, I know what I'm doing. I've been around, I have skills. I'm an expert in this activity. So whoever you are that you're listening, whatever your part of being expert is, if you're a trumpet player, you need to know how to do some basic drum stuff. And you need to know how to teach marching, and you need to know how to spin a flag.
I remember being amazed, like you were saying about being amazed that you could spin a flag, when our band director, the first time I ever saw him, like, he was a trombone player or a trumpet player, and when I was in high school, and he just like went and got on the quads real quick and did this run on percussion. I was like, I didn't know you could do drums, and he just kind of looked at me like, well, yeah, of course I do. I'm the band director.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
I know that feeling of like awe that the kids have.
Right, but I want to show my mastery in the marching arts. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm in it and I'm a part of it, then I need to be in it, and I need to know how to do it. And I got to tell you, if I'm a drum person and I'm marching around there and there's a guard, their guard's always around them. I mean, come on, we put them in the middle of them for the
Yes.
drum features, et cetera, et cetera. I need to understand how it works. If I'm a drill writer, and like you'll see young drill writers and they'll put the flags like, 4 steps apart or something. We're like, okay, wait a
And I'm
minute.
like, no, you have to have at least the 6-step interval. What are you doing?
Exactly. And you can say that to them, but I can tell you if I have stood with a flag and I have started to spin it around
Yep.
anybody, then all of a sudden I understand that immediately. Like,
Yep.
I understand I have to give them space, right? So just for safety, if not for the ability to perform. So listen, everybody, you need this. And Jackie, I love that you've made it available in a very, like I said, logical, digestible way. I can do each different lesson at my own time when I want to progress through it. Do it with your friend. You can do it for your whole class. If you're a band director and you don't have a guard instructor, then get this course and use it with your class. If you have a young instructor, and this is the other thing, Jackie, that the course is called Flag Spinning for Beginners and Beginning Instructors. And I love that part of it because there are a lot of people that have flag skills, but they don't, or guard skills, but they don't necessarily know the logical order in which to work with their young guard. And they come out of drum corps or something, and there they are in front of their guard. So they need to watch this course to see how you're teaching it.
I can't tell you how many times I have been a choreographer for a school where I've gone and worked at their guard camp, and they're like, "Oh, well, we have a guard instructor, so you're just come in and teach it, and they'll take care of cleaning all the basics and teaching them and everything." And I get there, and it is someone who's like walked right out of drum corps, and they're just ready to nail their kids with all these techniques, and they're like, "I don't understand why I can't get my kids to toss these easy 45s or whatever." And I'm like, "Well, do your kids know how to do cones?" And that sort of thing. And so like getting those basics into your students' hands. And sometimes there are people who go to drum corps and they just catch on really fast and they have no idea what the basics are because they just never had to learn them from like a young age or from a beginning standpoint. They literally just went into drum corps, learned the choreography, moved on. So having that foundation of how to teach the basics, even if you know them, it really, really changes the game so much.
Yeah, and I can tell you, Jackie, there are a lot of schools out there who don't have a guard instructor that has a lot of experience. I have worked with really good bands where the band director was in charge of the guard, or they did guard class twice a week.
Yep.
Or there's a guard sponsor who's an English teacher who, maybe spun 50 years ago, and there they are, and they're all like, so my point is, I love that this is help for all of those people. Like we can give them the information, they can show the videos to their kids, the kids can get their own videos and learn it. Like that population needs this help, and again, it's the logical order of here's where you start, here's the next thing you should teach them, and I can see you explaining to me how you're going to teach it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so great. I love putting out these resources that help people because first of all, I love the thankful feedback. Most people are so grateful to get this, and that kind of drives me forward to keep going. So if anybody has messages, they want to send me messages, or they feel moved to put a comment on something that's positive, like go for it. But like I love to be able to put those resources out there. This is just it's been my life's calling. I've always been a really patient instructor. I've been a biology professor for like 11 years, and I just I love to teach, and I love to teach on video. I love video editing and things like that, and I've been doing it for so long that it's just sort of second nature now, and I love to be able to put it out there in these formats and get that information to people who need it.
Yeah, so I'm so appreciative that you are put this on our website here at Marching Arts Education where people can find it. Of course, I have the system to help people find it. Pay the small fee for it, get access to it, and then, of course, once they become a pro, they can go back to your Spintronics, channels and like learn all the other super cool stuff or experts like other stuff. It's very cool. I told you, Jackie, recently, like everybody, I love when you guys contact me. I'm happy to help anybody that I can. Somebody sent me an email recently, or maybe a Facebook message, and they were like, I'm 52 years old. I'm moving to another place in Alabama that I've never been, and I want to learn how to be in a color guard, and I want to learn how to spin, and I want to find a group that I can perform with. And I'm like, okay, like I can help you. But now I can go back to that person and say, well, first off, learn the basics. Here's an easy way. It's on video. You take your iPad outside with your pole and start learning, where you can hit yourself in the head and nobody cares, or obviously you're not going to do that. But I think it's great. Like
everybody care.
Okay, well, we've all hit ourselves in the head, we know. But anyway, the point is everybody thinks this is fun. I think color guard is great fun. Of course, I was that kid I was a horn player in high school, but was also that kid that had a rifle and ran around and spent a lot of time in my backyard throwing my rifle around and like making up routines to Boogie Wonderland and like whatever I could do. It's fun.
That's another thing, actually, that I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't need a flag at home, or I don't need a rifle at home, or whatever. But really, like, you should have your own flag, your own rifle that you can spin with, that you don't have to share with the whole team or anything like that. And so you understand it better. So you have time, like if you have time, you can just go out and play with it, and just getting the physics of it, feeling what it feels like in your hands. What does it feel like to toss it up in the air? And you just get this deeper understanding of what your performers are going through, or what you're going to be going through as a performer, if that's something that you're trying to get to. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to you before, Tim, but I actually, that's one of the reasons that I was accepted into the Olympic opening ceremonies, was because of my color guard skills. Like I did an audition video. They do audition videos. I don't know if they do it the same every year, but I know for the Brazil 2016 Olympics.
Yeah, you were in Rio, right?
Yeah, I was in Rio, and cool. They were like, oh, well, here's what you need to include in your audition video, and like these dance skills and these like Portuguese speaking skills and so on and so on. And then I was like, well, I also do this other cool thing where I spin a flag. Can I do that? And they were like, we don't know what that is, but okay, sure. So, I added that in there, and that was, I feel like that was what got me the ticket to go to Rio, because it was just, something different, and, I had such a good time with it. And, I was able to express that with the world, basically.
Well, but you showed mastery of a skill that is related to what they were looking for. You showed mastery of the ability to move and control your body and manipulate this thing around you. It's impressive. And I got to tell you, whoever you are that's listening to this right now, like, you need to have this skill, because if you're going to be a band director, or I don't care if you're a drum instructor, or you teach feet, or whatever it is that you do, you need to be able to pick up a flag or a rifle or a saber and do something and show everybody that you have mastery of the marching arts. You are not a one-note person. And I firmly believe, Jackie, as I said before, that having this skill makes me better at whatever it is I'm really good at. So if I'm a trumpet instructor, I still need to understand what I see the guard around me doing on the field. I need to understand when I go to a winter guard show what it is I'm seeing and what the mastery is. Just like I think they need to understand how hard it is to clean a roll, or how to triple tongue something for a trumpet. Like, we all need to understand all this stuff. One of the reasons that I have this website is everybody can learn all this stuff. Whatever it is you want to know, there's probably a webinar or a conversation with somebody that's really smart, that's really good at it, talking to you about it. And this is another example of that. So listen, especially you aspiring band directors or young band directors, or like, you need to have this skill. Sign up for this course. If you can do it in the privacy of your own home in your own spare time, and Jackie is going to guide you through it step by step, so here's the first thing you need to know. Here's the next skill. They build one on the other. We all understand that concept, Jackie, but I don't know if I know of any other place where you can learn flag spinning in this logical, safe way from somebody that I trust, that they know what they're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I honestly, that's why I appreciate so much about your platform, is that it is such a place of learning and growing. And I honestly, I look at it as professional development. In the education industry, we're always like, oh, we got to have so many hours of professional development or whatever. Yep. But that was one of the things when I was, at the school that I was previously at, the band director was like, well, I'm a new band director. How do I get all these professional development hours? I could go to a conference or something. Then what really was rough, whenever, the pandemic happened, and now everybody's got to be at home, and you still have to get your professional development hours somehow. Honestly, marching arts education is such a fantastic resource for all of that. And it's not just the courses on the website. You've got the podcast, you've got all the webinars, and everything that you do is just, it's so helpful to the whole community. I'm
Well,
glad to
thank
be a
you.
part
That's
of it.
certainly our that's certainly our goal. I appreciate those kind words. And listen, I gotta tell you, if I was a band director right now, I would have them sign up for every course on my website, but I would for sure want every instructor to take this flag spinning course. And there's a drill writing course that we now have that's like a couple hours. You get the basics. Every band director should have that under their belt, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's an ethics course. There's all these things that we have available that I think hopefully people need. But I love that this is another one. And listen, everybody, we're talking about flag spinning today, but there's also rifle spinning and saber spinning. And Jackie, those are coming, right?
It's on the way. It's definitely a work in progress. Of course, we have the videos on our YouTube channel, but I'm really working to make sure we're carrying this whole organized educational philosophy over, and setting it up in such a way that you can learn it in a logical sequence. So we're going to do the same thing with rifle spinning. We're going to do the same thing with saber spinning. And for those schools that need it, I might even be able to translate this into air blade as well. I know a lot of people ask me about air blades just
Great.
because there's so many schools nowadays that don't allow sabers or rifles, but you really, if you can, you really still want your students to learn how to spin some sort of weapon. And the air blade is a fantastic option for that because it's not a weapon. It doesn't look like a weapon. It just looks like a cool thing. And then the skills from air blade are so easily transferred to rifle or saber if the students want to go on and march drum corps or go on and march in their college band or whatever, and they have to spin a weapon to do those things. So that is always a goal of mine, is to try and get the air blade nudged in there as well.
Yeah, let's do it. I think you're absolutely right about that, and there's a place for that too. So everybody, the best way to find out about all this stuff coming is to sign up for our newsletter, and then you'll know every week you'll be told, well, here's the latest thing, here's what's coming, here's what you can look forward to, and then you'll know when those courses are available too. Jackie, thanks for your hard work on doing this.
Absolutely. Hey, what about can you go do a screen share maybe and pull up the
Yeah. Great
So for
ideas.
those of you who are watching, at least, you'll
Everybody
be able to
watching
actually
this video,
see
there's
it.
what the page looks like. If you go to marchingartseducation.com and just click on, look for the flag spinning. It'll be in the drop-down menu right here where it says start here. It'll be right there. And also for a while here, it's going to be on the main page, where as soon as you go to the main page, it'll be right there, flag spinning, so you'll know how to click and find it. Or you can always go to the search bar, put in spinning or flag or Jackie or whatever, and it'll pop right up. So thank you for reminding me to show that. Everybody go to marchingartseducation.com and you will find it right there. Jackie, I love that this is available. Thanks for all your hard work. I love that it's like, again, it's a very logical way. I can trust it, that you're going to show me what to do when. I can use it with my students. I can use it with my staff. I can just use it for me. So it's awesome. So thanks for talking to me about it today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on the show. Like I said, I always love getting to come on here and talk to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody does with this and how far they take it.
Yeah, let us know. Contact us, and there's lots of ways to contact me at the website. Let us know how it's going or what it is you want next from Jackie and all of us here at Marching Arts Education. Jackie, thanks.
Thank you very much. I'll see you later.
Marching Arts Education is the home of the Marching Roundtable podcast and Color Guard EDU. We give you access to the top marching arts professionals through live webinars, podcasts, videos, interviews, and online coursework. With over 1,000 podcasts and hundreds of webinars and videos, there are hours of great professional development for you and your staff. Sign up for a membership to Marching Arts Education to get complete access to all webinars, videos, and podcasts, plus discounts on coursework. Many directors are using professional development funds through their school or boosters to make these resources available to their staff. Imagine what you could do with so many great new ideas from the top professionals in our activity. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and sign up for our newsletter to find out about the latest podcasts, webinars, and new content. Find all of this and sign up at marchingartseducation.com.